Before we get to this question, I want to say to all the people who are back here who are staring at the back of our heads, you don't know this, but for about 10 or 15 minutes before we started, I stood below you and I can see up and I stared at the back of your heads just to make it fair. Yes.
Hi, my name is Reese. I work at Science World. You guys should come visit if you're in town for the next couple days. Earlier you were saying that, which is true, that the large majority of the world has some kind of concept of God or some kind of belief in God. Also, the large majority of the world is very poor, and often these two things go together. What is atheism's role in addressing the poverty of the world and the ignorance that comes with it? That's not really their fault.
I mean, it's a demonstrable fact that there is this correlation you talk about. The research of Gregory Paul shows this both across European countries and across states in America, that poverty, lack of social welfare, lack of social security, that kind of thing, tends to go with religiosity. And people tend to lose their religion when they have security, welfare, that sort of thing. And Scandinavian countries have the most advanced welfare systems in the world, and they're the least theistic. Atheism's role, I mean, I don't see atheism as a political movement. To me, it's a philosophical position. But obviously, as a citizen, politically, I'm in favor of reducing poverty, reducing inequality, and from that, this research seems to suggest atheism will flow.
Yeah, and I agree with Richard. I think that certainly atheist communities are more than just about atheism, because we're people. But it's my humanism that makes me want to fight and eliminate poverty. And I try, when I'm deciding what I'm going to do, there's the think globally, act locally idea. I also try to think about what would the entire world be like if everybody did the thing that I want to do, and try to work along those lines. And so if everybody donated a little bit more, if everybody worked to encourage politicians to instill policies that reduced poverty and suffering, but there's also the limit of what can any individual do. Well, one of the things that individuals can do is vote, run for office, support the sort of policies that are going to put an end to this. A collection of atheists on Reddit can raise a bunch of money and do good, as we've seen, but they're not going to end poverty. And while we as atheists and those of us who are humanists certainly have an incentive to go there, it may be that we need to set aside our differences in other areas and work with people towards specific goals. And so, like the Reverend Barry Lynn is the CEO or the president of Americans United for Church-State Separation, and I adore him. I've shared the stage with him before, and I will again. And I will share a stage with him for church-state separation, and then argue with him tooth and nail over whether or not a God exists if he wants to. And I do the same thing. When I decide what charity I might actually donate to, my first question is not, hang on, is there a religion behind this? My first question is, are they actually doing good with the money? How much of my money is going to go to those issues? What efforts can I contribute besides money to help them out? And then I will compare, hey, is there a secular version of this? Which is why I love Foundation Beyond Belief and organizations that are working to improve secular charities. I would encourage everybody, if you're not familiar with Foundation Beyond Belief, to investigate that. There's also SHARE, I believe, which is Secular Humanists Activists. I'm going to get the acronym wrong, but it's out there to do good and help people. And I'd like to see a lot more effort there. And there's always room. If you don't have the money to donate, which I was unemployed for 4 out of 10 years for a while there, you can donate your time. And you can show the world that instead of the view that they had of who atheists were, we actually are your neighbors. We are scientists. We are jackasses. We are the people who deliver your mail. And we actually care about other people. We care about what kind of world we live in. And that's the reason that we talk about religion, because we see religions, while certainly people do good in the name of their religion, there is a lot of harm. And it could be, as I was saying before, better without the baggage.
Thank you.
Hi. Thanks for coming to Vancouver.